night, whatever time of day it is. There's a bloodstain here. Do you see the bloodstain? I'm not gonna turn this into Dora the Explorer. Do you see the big splotch of blood on the ground? No. What's it called? Today's topic of discussion is how I used to be a very unlikable person, and in fact, I can say with certainty that I was a slave to clout. I was nothing. Ooh, there's items over there? You know, I never knew there was stuff over there, so I'm gonna go grab it and see what the heck that is. I used to... This wasn't too long ago, too. But obviously growth happens exponentially at this age. I used to be a complete slave, just a husk to clout. And it all really kicked off when I started going online on this here Xbox One. So, if you look at my Xbox profile, I have 1,020 something followers. That means 1,020 something people just decided to add me as their friend, and they're deemed as followers because Xbox, for some weird reason, wants to be like a social media rather than a gaming platform. But ignoring that, I remember distinctly I got 800 followers in less than a week during my time on Battlefront 1. So when I first started going online on the Xbox, I had to change on the Xbox One, I had to change my gamer tag because I lost the account information to the 360 one, so rest in peace that account. And first thing I thought of at the time, I was just finished coming off of Cartoon Network, Uncle Grandpa, so Pete's D44, that's how the name came to place. First, oh my god. The first multiplayer games I really started playing was Mortal Kombat 10, MKX, and what was the other one? MKX, Dying Light, and then I'll just say Battlefront, 2015 EA Battlefront, because that's where it really kicked off. I don't know how, mind you, the first Battlefronts where I met all of my folks at this point, with the exception of two, who they are all loved dearly. I don't know how, but I guess I kind of got popular on the Xbox community of that first Battlefront. Mind you, this is where my account was getting reported senselessly, and I was constantly getting into arguments, so considering EA Battlefront came out 5 years ago at this point, which is kind of crazy to think about. That means I was 12 to 13, which is that. Oh god, that sounds so weird. And you know, at that age, that is probably the most unlikable age for any adolescent male that lives on Xbox. I mean, what do you think of when you think of Xbox specifically? Your mind goes straight of online gaming and Call of Duty and such. Your mind immediately goes to the number 12. You know, the golden age of just being insufferable. And I can say I was there too. I still kept a Christian tongue to this day, although day by day I get closer to breaking that golden streak. And I kind of met my folks there, and I guess you know, I took Battlefront sort of seriously in the sense of I never considered myself a sweat, but I won't deny that I did play like a sweat. And what I mean by that is the sense I never went into those, you know, private match, you know, small tourneys where these dudes play for some small reward or something. No. Never went into stuff like that because I don't like heavy competition like that, but I won't lie, when I went online, I went hard. And, you know, losing would suck. You know, I always stayed on those big modes like Supremacy, Walker, and I think my most played, though, overall is Hero Hunt, because, of course, if you buy a Star Wars game, why would you want to be a trooper and play Team Deathmatch? I want to be a hero. I want to have a lightsaber. I want to shoot lightning at my hands, know what I'm saying? And I guess over time, not too much time, mind you, because obviously Battlefront 2 came out 2 years later, I guess I kind of got a reputation and was known by people, and some of my friends, I guess, also got known by people. And at some point, it got to a point where I guess, I don't know how the Xbox algorithm works, but I was added to Xbox's list of people you should add when you first get on. You know how when you get on a social media or something, it'll tell you link your contacts so you can add people that you already know in text, and then it'll give you like a list of recommended people to follow based on interests or something. I basically got put onto that list of, if you're new to Xbox, you should add this guy, Pizza Steve, 44. And I don't know if it said like I'm a hit creator or something. Regarding stuff that I would make, I didn't make anything. I didn't make small films or anything. I would just take a lot of screenshots of large kill streaks, winning matches, and just make clips of stuff that I think was clip worthy, which was probably a lot more than what really should have been clipped back then. And, I guess over time I just got added to that list. And when that happened, I got an exponential amount of people adding me. I don't remember how many people had added me over time. Obviously, Xbox didn't have like a friends list limit, but I added a lot of people. But my criteria for adding people was terrible. It was basically if we had a fun match, or you messaged me and we didn't get at each other's throats, I would add you. I had added up to 400 something people on my friends list. At one point in time, I cleaned that up, and now I'm down to 9. It's gosh darn right. That's a clean friends list right there. And when that happened, when I got all of those followers, I started feeling like I was something. I don't know how to explain it, but I started wanting to... This was back before Mixer was a thing. Why did that not parry him? Let's try that again. There we go. This was before Mixer was Xbox's streaming thing, which is now which is crashing down. So, funny even bringing that up. And Twitch was the only option, but Twitch obviously wasn't optimized. The next generation was still kind of fresh and bland in a sense. Kinks were still being worked out. So, I felt like I needed to please these people that had added me in a sense, so I took up the idea of going live on Twitch. I went under the name That Popular Guy. That was just another alias of mine that I had used on a couple mobile games and stuff. Eventually I dropped it, because I have a horrible memory, and for some reason I don't store passwords and stuff, so, I lose accounts very easily. I mean, lost a 360 account, rest in peace. And I took up, streaming, and I wanted to make it a regular thing, because I had people that were legitimately watching me. Now, did I know many of these people? No. But I know a lot of people wanted to play with me, and for some reason, a lot of people were interested in my gameplay. I don't think they were really there for me, because I honestly can't say I was something special back then, but I mean, if I made all my lovely friends back then, I must have had something cool with me, right? But I don't think I was anything special. I guess you could just say I was really good at the game. I won't deny that. I was goated at Battlefront, and I would frequently make posts saying, like, should I stream, yada yada, stuff that you would see on like a Twitter page of someone who has thousands and millions of followers. Just stuff trying to engage with their community. My community being these hundreds of Xbox followers, and some interaction from them, some interaction solely just from my friends who are, I don't know if they were like goading me on or just, hyping me up, or just being friends, being good lads. But eventually it got to a point where things took a bad turn, and I didn't notice this back then, obviously, but I just reflecting on it now, because when I go on my profile, obviously on Xbox you can't have infinite amounts of clips, so there comes a point where you need to delete them if you're making too many to make room for new ones. And with that, what Xbox doesn't delete is things like your posts, your text posts. So at some point I, scrolled all the way down, and lo and behold, what do I see? I saw the types of stuff that I was doing 5 years ago, and it was bad. It was really bad. A lot of incessant swearing, a lot of encouraging bad behavior, a lot of witch hunting. One thing that would happen back in those days is, because I was really good at Battlefront, I got a lot of hate messages. Now, here's the thing. I didn't know how to deal with hate messages back then, except for arguing back, which means a lot of swearing through text and whatnot, and, just saying very vile things. Like, I will not deny that the stuff that I said would be enough to cancel me if I was someone really big with millions of subscribers, or followers, whatever, on any platform. Because of that, I got reported a bunch. And what I thought it was back then, with my small, ignorant mind, was I'm getting reported because I'm good at the game, and for some reason, if I'm getting mass reported, Xbox is seeing the reports and taking action. So I would constantly make posts on my social media page, I say that in air quotations, of saying like, oh, sorry guys, I can't message or make posts or communicate, I'm comm banned, yada yada yada, my reputation was always needs work, avoid me. It became a running gag, but I did some research and I realized that this stuff isn't funny, because if that happens, if you get, basically on Xbox how it works is a thing called the code of conduct or whatever, and if you get 3 code of conducts, three strikes, your account is permanently gone. And guess what? I have 2 strikes on this thing. I was that close to just straight up losing this account. Evidently, that didn't happen. Because there came a point where I realized that that nonsense was getting my account destroyed. See, you know, I swore that I would stop messaging people. You know, I don't say anything silly in text. If you're gonna talk trash, you know, say it in voice, or not voice messages, in parties, in game chat, whatever. And I saved myself. But when I look back at it, I did a lot of really bad things. Not only just stupid stuff that I said, but mind you, you know, we were kids. Or I was a kid, I should say. I shouldn't say we, like this involves other people. No, this is all me. Some stuff I did was really bad. When people would get mad at me and, you know, talk trash, I would get to the point where I would make an entire post exposing the person, you know, saying whatever they said to me, and then telling people to go report that person because they were being mean to me. And some of that stuff has consequences, man. And frankly, looking back at it now, when I look back at people on, say, F13 or something, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's just like COD banter. Like, sure, you know, at some point you're a bit too old to be saying the things that you're saying, especially to young kids, but it really shouldn't get to the point where witch hunting and, you know, inciting that weird behavior, it should never get that bad. And unfortunately, I was enabling that type of stuff. I was fully a slave to the clout sauce, man. Like, I felt like I was on cloud 9 with how much I would dude, I would make clips of, or screenshots, clips of kill streaks I would get on Battlefront 1 with, you know, Greedo, whoever, and I would send it to my entire friends list. And this would happen multiple times a week. And I remember at some point there was a dude who it was just, you know, just another person that I ended up playing a couple times with, you know, talked with his group of friends or whatever. He was a cool guy. I think his gamer tag was Wampa something, or I think the word Wampa was involved in it. And I remember when I sent him a clip of a Bosk kill streak on Endor, he replied, because most of the time when I would send these clips to the entire list, you know, no one would say anything. They would just, you know, leave a like, maybe comment on the thing, but they wouldn't reply to me with any criticism or just, you know, messaging me back. And he messaged me back, and he said, Steve, if this is what you're going to do, and all you're going to do is use me as a way to see your clips, please unfriend me, or I'll just block you. Straight up. He just like that. Like, Steve, this is annoying. This isn't what friends do. Like, I don't want to just I don't want to just jerk you off. Like, you know, I thought we were cool, but obviously you don't care about me, so please either stop sending me this or let's just part ways. So I respected him. I respected his wish, and I apologized, and then, you know, I unfriended him. Respectfully, okay? Look, I know when people say I unfriended, I deleted it, dude, it's so negative. It's calm down. Deep breath. Let me strip, because I'm gonna need to fast roll for this. Yeah. That was one of those defining moments where, you know, you come to realize that this isn't the way to go. I don't know how much different of a person I've been from 5 years ago now. I'd like to think I am much more likable now, obviously, than I was all them years ago. which comes through, you know, experience. I'd like to say that one of those defining experiences was when I played Telltale's Walking Dead. Just reflecting back, I sort of understand how these things happen to people. Like, I know, you know, we're always talking about whatever dumb thing some person with a lot of followers has done, right? And you know, obviously they let that fame get to their head. As someone who almost in a sense, not saying I was, you know, I was the shiz or anything. I just had Xbox followers, really. Like I didn't have any social medias or anything or Snapchats. No, this was all on Xbox. I understand it. It's very, especially when you're young, and obviously upbringing and stuff plays a part, but when you're young and impressionable, naive, ignorant, it's very easy for that stuff to get out of control. But at some point, I think you will come to learn and understand, you know, what's okay and what's just straight up obnoxious and what's making you just insufferable. I was indeed very annoying, very spammy. Oh my god. You can't even call it trolling. Look, the word trolling has truly lost its meaning. What I used to do wasn't trolling. It was just obnoxious and unneeded and just really weird behavior. That's what I would call it now. That's like my motto, weird behavior. That's all it was. It was just very weird behavior that I would indulge in, and as someone who was a slave to the clout, you know, I understand it. I don't think something like it can get out of hand like that again. I like to think so. I like to think I have, you know, everyone's favorite word, humbled thyself, so that doesn't ever get to that point again. But just know that people who act like that, they're probably very young, or they just haven't had many experiences in life. And there should, hopefully, come a point where they'll grow out of it. You know, they'll move on. Because you have to realize at some point that this is silly. This is stupid. I don't know when it was for me explicitly or specifically, whatever the heck, when I stopped behaving like that. I think, you know, over time as you grow up, you sort of slow down and mellow out. Like, I know by the time Battlefront 2 came out, it had really died down regarding how much I would try to interact with all the people that supposedly followed me. Some people, you know, they did message me, because, you know, some people were excited, I guess, around the idea of me specifically getting the next Battlefront, which is just kind of cringy to think about. That's how it was. And, you know, I would reply saying, yeah, I'm going to get it. I intend to, you know, go hard in it, blah, blah, blah. But by the time it came out and everything was done and dusted regarding its release, I think at that point, some of the big parts of, you know, the mellowing process had gone underway. And can I fast roll? Oh my god, I can't fast roll any of this trash. And I think the clout juice had subsided, you know? So I guess what I wanted to say throughout this terribly spoken message is just that understand that obnoxious people like that and those that you think are just high on that sauce, they'll move out of it, because I was under those effects. It's very easy to let it devour you. It's a vice, you know? It is a vice to live like that, to act like that, to behave like that. There will come a point where you wake up and you realize that this is just silly, and we gotta stop. That's about it. I was indeed a slave to the clout, but I moved out of it, and I think I've really refined myself as a hermit who barely talks to anyone. Oh, I'm so alone. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, wow. Isn't that pretty? You know, this is the end of the game, so I might as well beat the game here. So, I'll raise the volume a little bit. In fact, you probably can't hear me anymore. Well, let's just beat the game now. I won't have much to say here. Dark Souls 1 is definitely the easiest in my opinion. Definitely the easiest one. Because the systems in it are the most simplistic. You know, instantaneous backstabs, slow, defined attacks of the enemies. Kind of ridiculous scaling on on weaponry. I mean, look at this weapon that I'm using. Do you remember when I upgraded it so casually? Look at the scaling. EE scaling, and this thing's hitting for almost 500, at least regarding the, you know, the number it displays. Straight busted. Let's clean this up. Do you hear one? There it is. Whoa, you cannot parry from max range. You have to get up close with the slow. I didn't have the parry sound. By the way, despite this being the remastered, trust and believe, this looks near identical to how it is in the original. This remastered is a scam if you're looking for an actual remastered game. What looks to be a true remaster is the Demon Souls one. Do not look at Dark Souls Remastered and think, dang, that's a fine game. No. This is, all the remastered is just consistent FPS, which is very nice, truly, like, excellent, but no. That's not good enough. So why did you buy it? Shut up. Look, when you have money, you do stupid things. We've all been there. Oh yeah, the Black Knight armor, you have to go all the way here to get it. Nice. I wonder, because I noticed these Twitch videos are a lot easier to download. I wonder what kind of long videos I could make to upload. Because honestly, I've kind of always been interested in just uploading gameplay videos with no commentary, just to watch. Because okay, this is going to be a bit of a what's the word? Oh god, I'm losing it. I don't know how to vocabulate nothing no more. I have a confession, there we go. I don't know what word I was looking for, but for some reason, it was confession the whole time. I don't know what my mind was about to make up, so I'm glad I stopped myself. A bit of a confession I have to make. I watched my videos over dozens of times. Like, I think I watch my videos more than anyone else does. Is it because I have an inflated ego? Very likely, yes. I like listening to myself talk. I sort of get into conversations with myself, because remember, I talk to myself more than anyone. So if I can get a chance to listen to myself, freaking going on a racist tirade about something, you know for sure I will be giving that a ripe listen. So yeah, the idea of gameplay with no commentary is really interesting me, because I'd like to see things, you know, how I would do them. Because I feel if there's any long, you know, relatively chill, relatively boring videos I would watch of long gameplays, they would have to be from me. Let's clean this up. Oh, oh god. I just said this shouldn't be hard. Oh. Still alive, nerd. I used to have a strategy. Okay. I won't drag this out any further. You don't get to watch me beat this off.